Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Iowa soccer supporters. I'm Ben Brackett, your Soccer Talk co-host, alongside my good buddy and pal, Blake Siebes. A lot of podcasts racking up in the past few days. Capping it off with a good one today.
I love it. It's like the first one we've ever done that is strictly all female coaches.
Yes, not all female coaches.
Yeah,
Almost. Sorry, that'll.
You don't say that. Like it's all.
This is a great plug for our YouTube channel,
yeah.
so you can check this out. Yeah. We've got a bunch of high school coaches that coach on the girls' side here. We have one female and five. Males.
We have tried massively, and
yeah. We'll get to that part. So, anyway, we're here. Welcome, everybody. We'll
go around the introductions.
Yes, go around the horn,
Lisa
Sibo.
Grief, North Polar Bears girls soccer.
Do you know
Eric
everybody's?
Schaefer. I do.
Okay.
Eric Schaefer, girls soccer at Johnston Dragons. My alma mater. JP, John Pearson, Dowling Catholic Maroons, girls soccer. Dan James, girls soccer at DCG, the Mustangs.
Dallas Grimes.
Yep, sorry. Tiger Neaters, Lincoln Rail Splitters, girls soccer. Mike Bukite, Pella Christian.
Oh, you don't.
Eagles.
Come on.
I thought it was Eaglettes. I didn't know. So.
Eaglettes. Good Lord. Seaver's having a shocker right now. I'll take over for a second. Again, welcome and thank you for joining us. Generally, what we like to do first is give you guys a quick opportunity to introduce yourselves, tell us about your program quickly. We've got about 60 seconds. One thing we like to hit on is the size of your program and how it's grown, or maybe not, from year to year, and then maybe how you guys finished last year, and feel free to shout out any players or anything like that as you go. We'll start. Let's go smallest to largest. Actually, no. You know what we did last time? Winner starts, right? So yes. Let's go Schaefer, then we'll go Dan James.
All right. A lot of pressure. We finished as champs, and
4A. Sorry, 3A.
3A.
I'm sorry.
3A. There's only 3 classes. We have 60 currently registered players. I would say that our number's more realistically probably 50, and so that number's somewhat stayed the same. Maybe has gone down a bit. We used to have 3 full teams with varsity JV1, JV2, and now our JV2. We have to borrow some JV1 players in order to make it happen. 5 returning starters for this next year from last year, but we're going to be starting all new defenders and goalkeeper. So that'll be a breaking in process there.
So get after the Dragons back line, I think is what I heard.
Noted.
Dan James, you want to go ahead and talk about DCG quick?
Dan James, Dallas Center Grimes, and state champs were in the Class 2A last 2 years, so we've had a couple good years. We returned the senior class, and it's a loaded class for us. I mean, so we've been 5 or 6 years ago, we were looking forward to this class, and they haven't failed us. They've been in the state finals here 3 years in a row, so we're looking for a strong finish from them again here too. But size-wise, we're just literally blocks away from Johnston here. We got a highway dividing us, and we've got similar numbers here too. Right now I got 52, 53, but probably realistically 45, 48 kids here in a few weeks. But that's up a little bit. We've been in the upper 30s, low 40s, so our freshman, sophomore kids, we got a lot of kids there, and those over 30 kids in our freshman, sophomore classes there. So, so looking forward to another great year, and we open up 2A versus 3A champs to kick off the year. So we'll hopefully
March 25th.
It might be a fun game of the week.
Yeah.
Good shout. Okay, let's go biggest to smallest. So JP, you're next.
Last year we lost in the semifinal to Johnston. We probably have about close to 90 kids in our program this year. We had 39 freshman kids signed up to play, but if they all come out, I don't know. Probably about 4 or 5 starters from last year returning. We'll be very young, and some of the young girls are super players. I'm probably looking at starting 5 to 6 freshmen this year because of the talent. So we start our first game against Valley April 5th at Valley Stadium.
Awesome. I think Lincoln is the next largest school. So Tigray?
Yeah. We have about 95 girls signed up, but that will probably equal closer to maybe 50 girls. We graduated quite a few girls, but played a lot of girls in varsity last year. It was like, I think 30 some girls ended up getting varsity minutes. Like 22 different girls started for us at some point last year. So we'll look for the junior, sophomore class is very good for us. We have Lily and Marlene up top, who hopefully that's a duo that can score quite a few goals for us. Got a good keeper, back line, that should be good. So should be a solid season for us. Looking
Nice.
forward to the game against North in the stadium. So.
I like that. Well, that's a good segue. Lisa Grief.
What's up? Lisa Grief with Des Moines North Polar Bears. We are hoping to have around 50 this year. This will be our biggest class we have. We have just partnered with, or Sadell is now a partner with us. They used to be with East, so we share their student athletes for girls and boys soccer and I believe swimming. We normally have around 40, so we're thinking we're going to get 42, 44 from North and the rest from Sadell, which is great. When I started at North, we could barely field a team. I think we'd play with 8 or 9 people and try to get through a game. So hopefully have a JV too this year, potentially. I'm thinking about it. Last year was our best season ever, 10-5. We've never won that many games. We had a lot of really great players. One went on to play college soccer last year. Our goalkeeper, she's one of the best goalkeepers we've ever had. She's behind a DCG goalkeeper at Grandview, so pretty fun to train them. We're looking forward to this year. We have a lot of seniors back, some new freshmen coming in. We have a number of girls that do track and soccer. We have a lot of shared sports, so it'll be interesting to see how we turn out. And yeah, Lincoln's early, so we're really excited to play them.
Mike, Bouquet, go ahead. With the, what's your mascot again?
It's an eagle. All right. Fellow Christian, Mike Bouquet.
Speaking to the mic, Mike.
Yes. 21 kids, I believe. I coach cross country in the fall. Our girls track and cross country programs on a huge upswing. So I got 2 strikers that are doing track this year, so that'll be interesting to navigate. Small school, Christian school, a lot of families that don't believe in playing soccer on Sunday, so I get a lot of kids that don't do club because of that. So we get about a third of the kids that played club, third are city rec kids, and the other third are, usually I get about 6 or 7 girls that have never even played, so that'll be consistent this year. But that's the fun of piecing it all together. We still play a JV schedule with 21 kids. That's about, we're usually 20 to 24 kids typically. If I get less than 20, I panic. But we came off a really good year last year, scored over 80 goals. Unfortunately, one of them was by a senior, so our scoring will come from different places this year. But we've got a relatively deep team compared to the last 10 years I've coached, so should be a good year.
Awesome.
All right, I've got one, Ben, real quick.
Straight out of the gate,
How do
Steves.
we grow the women's game?
Wow, you're just going to
numbers-wise?
start hot. Good.
Because we talked to the boys' coaches the other night. Your numbers across the board from small schools to big schools are significantly lower. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think we only
What's
had
the answer. I'm just curious. How do you
Of the programs on the boys' side that we talked to, I think there was one with 60 in 4A.
Johnston has like 180 or something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of kids. And yeah, so some of those. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, how do we get more young ladies out playing soccer? I mean, let's start with you, Lisa. I know you. Well, just because you've done a good job, obviously, of like doubling your program, right, in the time that you've been there, and I know your program a little bit, and there's way more challenges to it, I think, than some of us know. So, like, give us some of those that some of these girls are dealing with, and trying to get more of them out there.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very different probably experience than suburb schools or other schools, but my barriers are girls aren't starting until middle school or high school. They have to work. They have to take care of families. So there's different barriers to get girls out. I would love to start earlier, so we don't have a huge feeder program. We're trying to start building that, which I think is going to be important for them. And ours is really community-based. They want to play in their community. They don't want to go to the suburbs. They don't want to go out. They want to play where they are. They want to have fun. And I think that can be even a broader conversation. I think we've lost, in my opinion, a little bit of the fun and purpose of what we're trying to do with these kids. I coach college as well, and I see kids get burnt out. It's a big problem, whether it's single sport or whether they've been playing soccer since they were 4 and that's all they know what to do. So I think I go back to fun. I go back to community, a sense of belonging. Those are really important. I do also think women coaches are important. There are not a lot of women coaches. You got to have a mix out there. Male coaches are great. I've had them. Women coaches are great. So fun, supportive, belonging. We've got to figure out the burnout situation and make sure they keep playing, especially through high school.
Let's say city schools for a second, Tiger. You guys have, like you said, how many, 80 or 90 kids out? That's how many names you have originally?
Well, yeah, so we have 95 that are signed up, registration, whatever, but that will turn out to be like 50.
So what? And that was why I wanted to ask. What's the reasoning for that?
I mean, it's.
Is it grades? Is it just feeling confident?
Exactly. No, it's people that don't even actually have interest in playing soccer. Just will check a box at registration or whatever, saying they're interested. So then they go on the list, but then they never show up or whatever. So, I mean, I think I counted. It's close to 30 freshmen on the list, and it's I know 8 of them maybe right now. So it's do we end up with 20 of them or do we end up with 12 of them? Is the question. So, I mean, I think a lot of it is, what Lisa's saying, they do enjoy having fun, the community aspect, the social side of it with their friends and everything. And, with the Metro, I see a lot, it's the right, like, they're friends with girls at North and East and Roosevelt and Hoover, and they want to beat those girls. So there's a lot of pride in those games. So I see girls really caring about that situation, the community, and that's what really matters to them. So I think starting at a younger age and getting more girls involved and playing more often would be how to do it.
So both of you guys talked about making it a little more fun, and that maybe that's like a slight difference, I guess. I don't know, maybe compared to when we had the boys' conversation, although I guess we weren't trying to cone numbers. But anyway.
Is there a middle school girls' league at DMPS?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a big thing, because I don't think there's one. Definitely not one in Pella. DCG definitely doesn't have one. There's no Catholic middle school league, and definitely Johnston doesn't have one either. So there is a DMPS middle school league.
It's a shortened season.
Yeah, it's 4 weeks, and they just kind of jam pack it, and usually it's just kind of teachers that do it. So it is awesome. I love the opportunity, but it's not, compared to, like, I'm assuming most of these guys have players that all play club soccer that are at varsity level, and so the comparison's quite a bit different still.
So you talked about the fun piece, Dan. We talked the other day, and you said you've been coaching out of DCG how many years now? This is your
25.
The 25th season, and you've learned some things, and it sounds like one of the things you've learned is maybe like letting the girls have a little fun and kind of giving them control has been part of the secret for you. So maybe just speak on that for a second.
Pick his outfit too.
And pick his outfit. That's correct.
Yeah,
I say you look good tonight, but not as good if the girls dressed you.
They'll send out their little voting tab here in a few days what we're going to wear the first game and that sort of thing here. But if we got to make it fun, yes. I mean, that's one thing. I met with my seniors a few weeks ago, and they said, hey, we want fun practices. Like, they already talked about next week, one of our last open gyms, can we have our 3v3 tournament? And they dress up in different costumes. And not even costumes, but they'll make shirts and they'll hang out. I mean, do things like that. But at the same time, I think we do have a good and bad. I mean, we've been successful, but then you have younger kids that say, I can't hang with those girls. And our girls seem to do it a little bit more than boys. Is the comparison game. I mean, I had a girl that, I'll pick on Landry for a second, but she scored in the semis to send us to the finals last year, and we had a talk because she wasn't on the same level as some of those kids, but I said, you have a different skill set. We can't do the comparison game. You bring a totally different skill set to some of these. So I think girls especially seem to do the comparison. Like, man, these girls have played club for their entire life, and I've only played club for a couple of years, and I've done the rec for the last couple of years. I don't know if I can hang with them there. So and I know our girls basketball as a whole is on the girls side is way down in numbers too. I mean, it's kind of alarming for some of our coaches in the suburban area there too. So I mean, it's just trying to get them come out, have fun. We've tried to hire a couple coaches that help out with our JV squad that, I mean, Coach Kane and Coach Raymond, Coach Bennett, great guys, but the kids just love them. So when you have those coaches that they just love to hang with there too, I mean, that seems to bring a few of them out that maybe wouldn't have come out for the sport.
Who wants to hop in?
I'd like to follow on and what Lisa said. I think the fun has went out of it a lot, and I lost a player to Valley because of numerous different reasons. One, maybe she never made the all-state team or the all-tournament team, and just I have all female staff at Dowling. I get Billy Bavard and Greta Goldberg. They were former captains. And then I get Maddie, who's a PE teacher over at Valley, who's on the JV. And then Rachel I just hired from VSA. She's going to come out and help me do the JV2 team. So I've got all female coaches. And I think the girls do like that. I really do. But I think the fun is way out of it now. When I started 13 years ago, I had a lot more fun, to be honest with you. Now it's more, a lot of these girls are doing the ECL, and that's all you hear about when they come back to practice. And then I look at the scores and I go, I don't know why you went out there in the first place, because some of them are double figures, you know. I'm like, and then I think the burnout, doing that much, kids are quitting in their senior year. And that's a big problem I got. Like this year, we get notice that Walkie can't field a JV2 team, and Urbandale can't field a JV2 team. So it's going to be difficult to find games for all these kids too. So I don't know the answer. I like the middle school league. I think if we could get something like that going, it would be great. I don't know about you guys, but I got an email from Sport in Iowa today for their preseason thing, and it's like $450.
Well, we can give you a futsal tournament for free, JP.
You know?
Well, I want to chime in if
So,
I could.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
No,
First
that's
year
all
I
good
took-
points, JP.
First year I took over, I had 25 girls out, and almost all of them had never played soccer. But one of the things I implemented the first year, and I thought it was just going to be a year or two, was Fun Fridays. And we literally, it's a Fun Friday. And 10 years in, I'm still doing Fun Fridays. And I think if I wouldn't do some things like that, a third of my team wouldn't be there. The kids wouldn't come out to just give it a try. And we do some team building, team bonding things at a cabin outing we do before the season, that sort of thing. But one of the things I'm excited for, and you guys are directly a part of it, is because you can have 8th grade girls practice with the high school, not playing games. We're adding 8th graders into our practices this year, and we're doing it after track practices. So we have Saturday practices where we have our game-like session. So Friday's a good day for something easy, and then we hit them with another game-like session, which we like to have 11v11 for Saturday session. So we're trying that this year. I don't know how many middle schoolers, 8th graders will get out for that, but we're doing Friday night futsal tournaments as well. So we got one futsal court in Pella, and we got a second one that we're hopefully getting across the finish line here in the next 2 months with some fundraising that's already on the table. So so we think the futsal courts is a fun way as well to get middle school kids involved. So
That's awesome.
Shaver grabbed the mic.
I know Schaefer's got
ready.
something to say.
I'm
Let's
ready.
go.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I think the pressure to perform, so especially my higher level girls that maybe grew up playing, and then again, kind of burn out where it's like they're, in different coaching styles, different things like that. Like I think maybe in club soccer that there is a lot of pressure to like be the best out there, and so being loose, I think, is important. I think the middle school piece. So I've actually had 8th graders practice as well. They just practice with our JV teams. For the most part, it's not like a huge number. Like initially when I put it out, I was like, oh, we have 20 8th graders that are interested. But then by the time my kids that are playing club soccer, like I don't see those girls. I see the girls that don't play soccer, and they'll play with my JV teams during practices. And but it's another opportunity to play. I think each year I feel like I'll lose one player that has played high level soccer because they were successful in track. And so, they were successful in cross country, which then led them to, well, I'm just going to go out for track and not go out for soccer. I will say I pride myself on, I've brought 3 of those girls back. So one of the girls started her junior and senior year after I brought her back. I have a junior that's coming out this year that hasn't played high school soccer, but used to play Sporting Iowa. So excited to have her. And so each year I feel like I get some of those girls that maybe a bad experience, maybe again, found success, had fun in track or cross country. So then that's their sport now in the spring. And so how can we find that girl that loved soccer when she was a kid and just loved to play, and try to tap into that. I think that's something important for us to try.
I think it's kind of interesting because we are talking a lot about the differences between the boys' game and the girls' game, and one of the big talking points, when you guys listen to the other one, which I'm sure you will do, is the boys are really set on, like, this transfer portal is like a huge deal for all of them. And they're losing players left and right, or they're gaining players left and right. And I think it's affecting all programs in some way, whether they'll fully admit it or not. I'm just curious are you guys seeing that as well? Talk a little bit about maybe your experience with it or not. No, the high school transfer portal.
JP, go ahead. So, because you lost one, but like, you're probably one of the bigger schools. Schaefer, you're one of the bigger schools.
Yeah, you don't have to go into the details.
Yeah,
Just more like, are you seeing this? And then
or
maybe
is
not
it
like
a moot point.
I think the boys picked up a few players this year. The boys at Jackson's team. I haven't received any transfers. All the years I've been at Dowling, I've never had any girls transfer to Dowling.
So this is like
I was just curious about the difference.
The quick Schaefer, anything yes or no?
Is you talking
Players?
about the voucher thing?
No. Literally just the fact that you can. It's open enrollment. You can transfer whenever you want. So at least on the boys' side, like like Johnston on the boys' side, we'll use them as an example. They won state last year. They have 7 players from different teams coming, including a player from Cedar Rapids that's coming to Des Moines to stay. Or coming
For whatever reason, like who knows?
So yeah, exactly. So again,
but they also have more players. Like that's why so it's so intriguing, man.
So
you got the differences between.
So Schaefer, are you seeing that at all?
No. So the girls' side, I haven't gained any player
or have you lost any players?
No, I mean 2-3 years ago, lost Isabel Garcia, but other than that was it.
Lisa.
So I think in the city schools, it's more they're not they're moving. Their families are moving, and we're losing players. Maybe they don't want to be at North, they don't want to be at Lincoln or Roosevelt, and they're moving for that. I know there's probably
they're actually physically moving.
They're physically moving or something like that. Like I'm not quite sure anyone's transferring in to come play soccer in North, but
Tiger.
Maybe.
No,
I hope so.
same
Come to North.
No, yeah.
I love it, Lisa.
Yeah, it's people moving in both boys and girls, but yeah, it's there's a girl that moved to the south side but had enrolled at Valley last year, but now she wasn't happy at Valley, so she's going to her home school, which is Lincoln, so that's nice for me. But other
Nice,
than
Tiger.
that, I mean, it's none of that.
And no for Dan as well.
We don't have kids.
And no for
coming
Mike. Maybe.
I've actually lost about, I think it's 4 different girls to Pella High across town that have been some of my best players.
And out of curiosity, is it like academic reasons, school reasons? Is it purely athletic?
When it comes to soccer, it's kids that played in the club with them. So they
Gotcha.
had the relationships through the club, and not as many club kids going to PC, so they went across town. But to be honest, with the new ESA, or not ESA, is that what it's called? Yeah.
The voucher program, right?
Voucher programs, there's a less of a financial reason to not go to Pella Christian, and Pella Christian's K through 12 enrollment was up, I don't know, close to 90 kids last year. Pella High's was down 90 for many different reasons. So there will be more kids that have played club soccer going to Pella Christian, I can guarantee, over the next 5 years.
Ooh, I like a guarantee. So the other hot topic on the
Let's
boys.
talk about that though, like because we have 2 private school coaches on. Like I love it. This is interesting.
Has your program grown at all, John?
We were down the last.
You got to talk into the mic,
Sorry.
JP.
We were down the last couple of years, but this year we're back up.
When you say down, like down a few players or down like 20 players?
maybe 20 at the most. We've been around like 60 to 80 kids since I've been.
And you're at what this year again?
We could be close to 90 if they all come out, if they're all signed up and coming out. But I think a lot of them just tick that box that they want to play soccer, and then they'll show up and they don't have any cleats on the Friday for the JV2 team, and then they'll quit halfway through that week.
There are no idea on like people who've like specifically has anybody switched to come to Dowling because of like
Not on the girl side.
No, okay,
No.
fair enough.
No.
The other big thing was the state tournament. So the boys' side has, I don't want to say botched it, but kind of botched it because they're going to play the quarterfinals at County, and then they're going to move across town to Drake and play at they're going to play at the Drake Stadium and MediaCom. So you're going from grass to turf, and then you're going from a singular location to split locations, and the final is going to be at MediaCom. So like you could play at County on one day, then you could play at the Drake Stadium, and then you could walk across the street and play the next day at MediaCom. So it's odd, and the Drake Stadium is narrow. It's not quite the right size of a soccer field. So I don't. Somebody want to enlighten me. What's the girls' state tournament looking like this year? Do we know?
It's staying at County. They won't break their contract. So
One more year in it.
yeah. So this is the last year at County. I think they're looking, just because there hasn't been a lot of upgrades at County. I know they're looking. I mean, I just know that because
Well, that's fair.
we've
That's a
emailed
city,
a couple times.
That's the
for
city of Des
Grimes
Moines.
to-
Yeah, that's the city of Des Moines conversation. We know that they're not going to invest in it. So unfortunately, that's the situation.
Schaefer's a good thing or a bad thing? You like
Locker
the
rooms,
state
yeah,
tournament
locker
at
rooms.
County? Let's just go around the table. I love it. I think it's the best. So I'll speak up first. I think it's the best thing. The best state
Other than
tournament.
the state fair, that's Blake's
It
favorite
is.
favorite
It is.
week.
It's the number 2 thing to activate the community of Des Moines. County is awesome for state soccer. Schaefer's opinions. Make it quick.
Okay, I'm gonna say no.
Getting political.
We play 98% of our matches on turf, and so to all of a sudden in postseason say we're gonna play on grass, it's much different. So yeah, that's it.
But then you have to have a solution then. So if you don't like it, what's
Grimes
the solution?
flex.
Where the people sit.
They will bring in bleachers. We've already had that discussion.
What he said.
Portable bleachers for
Says
it.
the Grimes guy. Okay.
This is in the works already. We're pitching it right now.
County. Tiger, JP, Mike, Lisa. Just like it or dislike it.
County's good if they cut the grass. I think the grass is way too long. If they
City of Des Moines, Parks and Rec, are you listening? Tiger?
very slow. It slows the game down.
I mean, if it means Lincoln's in the state tournament, we'll play it anywhere you want.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, where are we playing? Where are we playing?
It's so
No, I
much
think
cooler though, having everybody at the same site on the same day. That's the best part of it. So if we can have something like that, I mean, rather than having broken sprinkler heads and we're dribbling through mud puddles in the middle of the field.
Yeah, I think-
I mean, that's not very cool. But like, at the same location, if we could have a facility like that, I think everybody would be in for that.
Yeah, I think County, it would be great. I mean, it's got a good atmosphere, a good vibe. I've played there for college, for high school. Fields have some holes. It's just okay. And I think locker rooms, I just think you need a professional place where people can change or have some options would be important in the future. Yeah. County, important.
So what's the solution then, Lisa? Building locker rooms at County? I generally don't know.
But also, Siebes, just to, Lisa, we're going to come back to you, but the other thing that the boys mentioned, and this was an issue for you guys too, for the girls, on the girls' side, was that there were rain delays and severe weather, and like if there had been, let's say, a tornado, like where
So here's my argument.
No, I don't disagree. I'm just
Guess
saying
where
like that's
Lincoln
what
and North and everybody plays their conference games at. Some of them are played at County. So if it's a safety issue, nobody should ever play at County.
Well, okay,
If
fair
that's
enough.
the
I'm
issue,
just saying.
that's
So
what
those.
that's what they claim.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry, I just got like.
So
that's
anyway,
what drives me
any
crazy.
other answers though? Like where else do we play this game, or do you have to do like regional sites and that kind of thing?
Can you make it facilities that are not teams that are not schools that are not at the state tournament can be play on their fields, their stadiums. like locate like 3. This is where you play.
Who disagrees? Raise your hand if you don't think county is a great atmosphere for the kids.
Well, that's a bad question.
Blake, the question is though, like, where else can you go?
Everybody, so if it's a safety issue, then nobody should ever play a game at county.
It's not about safety necessarily.
Tiger should never play a game if their reasoning is safety.
Okay,
nobody
so
should
I was
play a
just
game
using,
at
I was
county.
just saying that was another thing that was said
was
yesterday.
I know.
I mean, it was a
That's
point.
why.
But at the same time, when we played in Muscatine 10 years ago, everybody had to huddle in one little restroom. You couldn't fit. all
Correct.
the
So
people
so
that-
another
The
option
sur-
would be
the
like
surface-
An
the
option would be,
surface was
what
more
about
the-
Ames?
my
There's
place.
enough fields in Ames you could set up, like at the university. Where else? Like I'm just like literally to like have 8 fields going. Where else?
4 fields.
Well, you got the boys and the girl. I mean, okay, 4 fields, fine, but like 8 would be better.
I mean, you guys have all.
You go to the
we
Field
talked
of
to boys,
Dreams?
Coaches, the administrations have created. Players have created an awesome environment at county. Guess what? There's been trains since we were 12 years old, Ben.
When
That's been
that's
been so long. It's like,
anything about the train?
well,
that was something that came
yeah,
up
there's
supposedly.
a- yeah, yeah, like that's an issue. So that's
Plan
okay
ahead.
though. So if the safety's an issue, then I don't
Okay,
think anybody should ever
so
play
fair
at county.
enough.
I love county. They've done a great job. Don't move it. My opinion. Go ahead, Lisa.
Big time.
Do you have a better solution though, Lisa? And I think that the locker rooms, the locker rooms thing is like a legit thing, especially on the girls' side, right? Like I think that matters more. Is that wrong?
I'm gonna build some modular stadiums and some farm fields and locker rooms.
Mike, what are your thoughts? Like, I know you've watched, you've been to county.
We went out
Yeah.
and came back.
First of all, I'd love to get there. But small school comment, there's more and more small schools going to turf, like Knoxville's got turf now, Sheraton's got turf. But there is a ton of the 70 1A schools that play on grass. And I think a lot of those programs feel it's an advantage to play on grass versus the schools that have the turf. But personally, we play a lot on turf, and I'd just soon play on turf at that point in the season. But location, I ain't got the answer.
That's disappointing. So here's
futsal court.
so like, and this just you guys mentioned the turf to grass thing. Like, do we see more injuries on turf or not? Is that something you guys see? Because to me, I know personally my injuries have all come on turf, and because I'm overweight, which Blake will tell you. But does that at all play into your guys' thought process? Just out of curiosity. And women generally are more likely to tear an ACL than men, which is true.
I mean, there's an ACL epidemic at the pro level. It's happening. They're playing on turf, but they're also researching the load, how many games they're playing, which is another conversation I'd like to have. How many games a week we should be playing.
So that was going to be the next question was, what are things that we could change? So if you want to comment on the turf, you can. Otherwise, what are things you want to change? Sorry, Lisa. Keep going. No, keep going.
Yeah, I think it's a big question. We've had number of years where we've had 3 weeks where we have 3 games a week. For me, not even colleges are doing that. So I'm just curious what people's thoughts are on that, because I think that's a lot.
12-game max. And then you can maybe, if you want to add a tournament into that, you can. So 14 games.
So that's about it's about 10-week season, game a week. Occasionally, you got 2 games.
Then you can watch film. You can even give them a night off. You know,
night off.
rest. You got to do that in the girls' side.
Or they'll go do track.
Right.
So,
Tiger,
I think
Dan.
I think we're doing too many games.
Yeah, I mean, I'd echo that too. I mean, but then when we go to lesser games, then we get pushback from the kids and the parents. Like, why is Johnston playing 16, 17 games and we're only going to play 12 or 13? We're not giving our kids as many opportunities to have the same stats and to be exposed to maybe there's some invites with college coaches and that sort of thing there too. So it's a double-edged sword there too. So as we've gotten a little bit deeper, we're able to, like, I start monitoring the minutes, especially when we have the track soccer athletes. We have a conversation up front. I can't play you 60 to 70 minutes a night. It's going to be 30 or 40 minutes a night because you're going to be competing 3 or 4 days a week. So those kids make it tough.
Are you guys limited on the number of games you can schedule, and is there a minimum number as well?
There's not a minimum, but your conference is gonna. I mean, I think
So you have to play all your conference games, and then outside of that, there's no
you can schedule up to 17,
up to 17.
and then 2 scrimmages and 1 jamboree.
Okay,
I
so
think that's right.
so quick, just like
One scrimmage, sorry.
one or whatever, one word answer. Like, how many games are you gonna play this year?
We have 14 in a jamboree.
16 in a jamboree.
15.
17.
16 in a jamboree.
16.
Okay, so you guys are basically trying to max out.
Yeah.
I
max
mean,
out
for the
with
most part, right?
With
Every-
the,
you're
we'll
close.
wind up with 14 or 15. We know, I mean, we're probably going to lose a couple just in the spring season. We normally lose 2 or 3 games besides our conference games there, too. I mean,
When you say
we'll
lose
make up
them,
all
you
our
mean
conference games.
you mean
the
just
weather,
don't.
right? It
Weather,
rains,
yeah,
and
I
you
mean,
got
it
to
rain,
reschedule.
I'm
I was gonna say, yeah, like most teams do lose some games. You're right.
Dan's not used to that, but
Just a bit of a side to this. I think there are coaches that when they play games, they run a very short rotation. I mean, they're playing 12 or 13 kids. And
So I think that's
they're
kind of
wondering
the
why they're losing kids from their program when they got 10 other kids on the bench that are very capable of playing in half the games without losing the games. But we're playing 13 kids because we want to stat load for 13 kids and feel good about how many team goals we get. I mean, it's ridiculous. I won't say.
No, it's good.
But then
So,
there's the pressure. The
do we get
rankings
into
don't
the-
matter, but the rankings do matter.
So
then,
let's go
too,
to
so-
rankings. So they've changed the ranking system.
or just on the.
Oh yeah,
This is the thing that's
what
so
are the girl-
beautiful about
yeah,
this.
So like, what are the girls? Does anybody know what the girls' rankings? Schaefer, go ahead.
No, you can say. I was gonna say it.
Come on, no.
Some guy in an office, I think.
I thought it was a basement, actually. Yeah.
So it's the association.
He doesn't know. If
Is it the association though,
he doesn't know
directly?
injuries,
The
he
union.
doesn't know
What's
who's
the
playing.
all right? So what's the best? How do we change the ranking system for the girls' union?
And does it make a difference? Because the one thing that the girls' union does correct, regardless if they get everybody ranked correctly, is that the top 8 teams actually go to state.
No.
Well, don't they all get a?
Come on, JP.
Don't they all have like
Sure.
a? They
Tell us how it works.
Okay.
One year we were ranked
Louise.
7th. Ankeny Centennial was 1, and Ankeny was 9, and we were on the same sub-state bracket.
Oh, okay. So the difference is that the you guys do
figure
it
that
all
one
region.
out.
Everything's regional. Is that right?
So we're on the same conference
Sometimes.
too, basically, and then we all played each other. to
So
go
there's
to
no
state.
rhyme or reason to it. It's just made up.
So number 1, so we played
thought the
Ankeny,
Union
and
did
we
it
beat
well. Oh,
Ankeny,
no,
and
no,
then we
they
lost to Centennial. That was the only year we never went to state. But it was 1, 7, and 9 in the same bracket.
Well, that's silly.
not usually like that anymore.
None.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, there's been times. I mean, I've sat in there and they've explained it. Like, and they'll pull out like, hey, they'll put together groups of 6 to 8 schools depending on which class. I mean, you've got to play a couple more teams, but usually like 6, 7 teams there, and they'll put the rubber bands around, trying to figure out like, all right, location-wise, we're not trying to take somebody from Sioux City and send them over to Davenport or something like that too. But so they try to do some logistically, but then they map out the top 8 seeds and try to like get them the best draw, and it happens sometimes. But then like 3 years in a row, we've played a top 10 team to get to the state tournament too. So that doesn't always.
So is it a
happen.
good system, Dan?
Is it good?
Yeah.
I would like to see more coach input to it. Like they can still be the end all be all of it, but if they
The
had
girls' union, you're
the
talking.
girls' union, yeah, because then that's an impartial person. I mean, because we all think we're a little bit better sometimes than we actually are. But if they got some input from
Jason?
yeah, Jason and Gary take care of a lot of the girls stuff.
I mean, maybe you just like you're not allowed to comment on your own team. You know, like you should be able to give feedback though on all these other teams.
Maybe
The
do
problem,
ranking committees with other sports, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
All cross country's that way. Football's been that way. I don't know if it currently is, but it was. Why not?
Girls' soccer's not that way.
Well, why is boys soccer and the girls' soccer isn't? I mean, if it's good for the gander, it's good for the goose. We're always.
That's a
we're
good one.
always why isn't there 4 classes on the girls' side instead of 3 like the boys' side? I mean, we got 70 teams. We can put 4 classes of 40 teams together and have 4 classes of sports, and then you got. I mean, there's such a large disparity when you go from the bottom quartile of teams in the state of Iowa on the girls' side to the top quartile. I mean, there you could 10-0 4 different, 3 different times from top to bottom. I mean, if you want to keep girls in the sport, that'd be one good way to do it. So you're not.
So that's also I've never really thought this out loud, but there's no 10-0 rule on the boys' side, correct?
Yeah, now
There is now.
I think they did it.
I think so.
So So I guess my question
did
is,
for a while.
I've never heard of a 10-0 on the boys' side ever. So why does that happen in girls soccer and not in boys soccer? Or is it because it's literally you're playing like it's a team that has a bunch of kids that have never really played competitive soccer and
Seriously, if you ranked 1 to 160 in the state of Iowa with girls teams, the 121st team skill wise played the 160th, it would be a 10-0 game. And then you did the second quartile and the third quartile. I mean, I play that kind of.
do you teach math?
On my, I should. It's blue kite math. Just ask my wife.
No, that's good.
But I'm serious. I mean, I literally see it on my schedule. We got Des Moines Christian, DCG, then we go play Columbus Junction.
So you'll 10-0 a team and you'll get 10-0'd.
Oh, yeah, every year.
That's so weird.
That's.
I'm just the difference with how it sets up. It doesn't. That's crazy.
I mean, yeah, that happened with us. We 10-0'd a team last year and got 10-0'd, I think, 3 times.
I mean, there's some teams half their schedule. They
How do you fix that? Because there's probably nothing worse than getting 10-0'd, right?
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
Have you guys ever been 10-0'd?
Oh God, Ben, you got to be kidding me, Ben. Yo, we were 10-0'd every game when I started at half.
10-0'd by a 1A team.
Right, we've been 10-0'd. Des Moines Christians
some of it's
10-0'd us.
conference alignment, right?
Yeah.
We're in with the big boys.
I mean, I think there's
It is what it is. But
we have girls that have never played. So if you have girls that have been playing since they were 4 and they're competing against us, even though we might have some raw athletes, we're going to get 10-0'd. And I think what I learned right away is they don't want to get 10-0'd every game. Like, I don't want them to end at halftime. They're not learning. They're not growing from that. Like, yes, there's the resilience and bounce back. But if every game is 10-0'd, it's a problem. It's a competition problem who you're playing. And I think it's important, personally, is to match some of your schedule where you have some of that where they could feel like they're in the game. Because if you don't feel like you're in the game, you're never in the game, you never want to play. No one wants to go out.
So you've done a really good job, I think, in the past few years of that, because you guys have had so many like competitive games now compared to where you guys used to get thumped a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, personally, and it people might agree or disagree, but we play some 1A teams, we play 2A teams. We do that because that's who we are as a group, and that helps more girls come out.
But and the
Bracket,
girls
talk about
love
the-
it. Like the girls
Right,
love it.
But
They
talk
love
about so football has gone to the free and reduced lunch
Yeah,
schedule.
which is North is 87% free and reduced
so
lunch.
can you guys talk about would that be a good thing for girls soccer? Because that's the only sport they've done that strictly for the class wise. Schaefer?
I didn't have anything. I thought JP was going, so I was giving it.
I thought you were going. I was just getting closer.
But I'll throw in another piece, like Northeast Iowa, where I grew up. Postville and North Fayette Valley added girls soccer. Yeah, last year and this year. I mean, there's small enough schools that I've got a niece, her husband coaches track at Postville. I mean, he's cringing over it because half his track girls are going to go do soccer or more. So, I mean, they're fighting for kids just to field enough kids to run the program. So it's good. There's so many different variables that are different extremes based on size of school, and but that's my small school bias and thought process that I get to stare at. But
Dan, what do you think? Like, you're kind of in that middle area of DCG, grown massively. You guys will probably jump into the 3A in the next 5 to 6, 7
Some
years.
of his math, it'll keep us in a smaller class for a while. So that's what, like, our boys were in the big class last year, and then they moved down there. So, like, but that'll keep. I mean, we got probably another 6 to 8 years with our enrollment there too. But like, as we said, I mean, like, the last few, we've been not on the losing side of the 10-0, but at the same time, we've been on the other side of it a few times, and I'll be honest, it's not enjoyable for either side. I mean, like, and I'm like at that point when it gets like 6, 7, do I tell my girls not to score? And then, like, what do you do? And then it's some of those girls on the JV level, they get their first minutes in a varsity matchup, and they're like, man, I'm going to prove myself here tonight. So you can't tell them not to score and that sort of thing. So it's tough for us. So we pretty much have a CIML schedule this year because that's where we are right now. In 2 years from now, we won't have that same schedule because we won't be able to match up like we can right now. But like, so I think sometimes we have to adjust our schedules depending on the level of our players that we have in our program too, to make things competitive for them. Because I mean, it's much better for our girls to lose a game 2-1 than it is to go out 1 a game 7, 8, 9, nothing or 2.
Better to lose every day if it's close. right?
Oh, I don't know about it.
Oh,
JP,
I honestly think though, like,
Do you know how you silence your phone?
I knew it was coming. I'm just gonna ignore you over there.
all right, so that means he's not answering your
This
question.
is my favorite question, though.
Okay,
Are we
then
done? Anybody else got any? got
no,
anything,
you
Ben?
give your favorite question, then I've got one after that.
All right. So we've just talked kind of about like some of the struggles, challenges. JP, I'll give it to you. Why do you coach high school soccer? What do you love about it? You're still doing it. You've been around for a while. What keeps you coming year after year?
Well, I coached club for about 25 years at West Des Moines, and then I resigned from them and went to Dowling. And when I was at club, I always wondered why kids liked the high school level. And I asked them, why do you like it? And they all seemed to love it because their friends would come and watch them play. They'd be on the bus. I think I treat it like a small college. You know, we do game film, we do lifting together, we'll get speed and agility tomorrow at 5:45. We do all that stuff, and I think I coached club last year at VSA. I'm not going to do it in the spring, but I just think it's a different environment. I like the environment, and a couple of years ago, I went into my AD and I told him I had enough because the class I had was really disruptive. There was like 3 or 4 girls that just ruined it for a lot. So I went into my AD and I was like, I think my time is up. And he looked at me and he's like, no, I'm not going to accept it. And I was like, what? So I got home and Pam's like, so what did Coach Wilson say? And I was like, I still have a job. So in between those, he says 2 weeks, JP, he says, and then come back. So I thought about why I liked high school, and I do like coaching it. It's a completely different environment from club, and I don't really know the reason. I enjoy it. Dowling is a good school to be at, so that's what keeps me going. I don't know if that's a good answer or not.
That's a great answer, JP. Dan?
I think we might have had similar conversations with our ADs a couple years ago because I was about ready to bounce out too. But it's not always been the kids. It's more of the parentals getting involved there too. I mean, that's been. But even when the grass isn't always greener on the other side there too. I'll put it that way there. But I enjoy it, just especially in the middle of the season, things going up or down. But then those girls just coming and you just have to lighten the mood. And I mean, sometimes I'm not very happy during the day, but then they'll come up, start cracking jokes with you and just that camaraderie that you build with those kids. And then when they come back the next year, and a lot of the girls coming back last year and just high-fiving on the sidelines after a game and that sort of thing, cheering our girls on. It's cool to see those sorts of things there too.
Tiger, are you the least tenured high school coach here?
Probably, yeah.
So your second season, third season?
Second.
Okay. Why?
I mean, a lot like he's saying, it's different from club, and, I do coach club still, and I enjoy that quite a bit, but high school, the camaraderie, like, people wanting, Southside pride. It's all a big thing in Lincoln. It's up, in the gym, and it's really cool to, play against other metro schools, and it's always a big battle, and you don't really get that in club with, when we play North this year, it's going to be a girls-boys doubleheader in the stadium.
Nice.
And I'm talking to my AD about, let's make this a big deal, get the crowds out. And, club soccer, you don't get big crowds and your friends coming out and the excitement. So it's just really cool atmosphere, really cool, the camaraderie, the bus trips, all that. You don't really get with club soccer, so it's fun.
Lisa?
Yeah, that's going to be a sweet game. Yeah. Boys, girls, varsity doubleheader. Yeah, I coach high school. I've coached youth, club, high school, college, and high school is my favorite age. It's been my favorite age. I think there's so much growth and development happening at the high school age, so much mentoring you can do. They're wondering what they're going to do with their life, college, life beyond, relationships, academics. So that for me is really important to be a part of that outside of just even soccer, and I think you see that. And I think I see the most growth from high school players when they come in as a freshman and leave as a senior. There's so much growth in them as people and as players, and I think that's really fun to see. And I'm starting to see alums come back and the pride they have for their school and showing, mentoring the younger players is really great. It's very community focused. Bus trips are amazing. You never know what the girls are going to say on a bus trip. There's a lot. You could probably do a movie on it. It's pretty funny. And I think we had a rain out last year. It was like lightning delay for like 2.5 hours in our locker room, and we set it up. We made it a club, put on music. Girls were dancing for 2 hours. You don't get that a lot of places. So
Waited for 2.5 hours.
yeah, it was a 2-hour on a Saturday.
Honestly.
Did you end up playing?
No. But they will remember the club forever. And I think the other thing I like about North, it was like club. We had a DJ. It was club. North is very diverse, and I've coached a club around, but I get African women, Latina young women, white. I get all of it, and for me, the diversity where I'm at is very interesting and exciting, and why I coach as well.
Yeah, I think for me it's the relationships. I think Lisa kind of hit on it, just seeing kids grow from their freshman year to their senior year, and then keep establishing those relationships. Like when kids go to school, check in on them. I'll send my former seniors, a text at the start of the fall, and then usually in January sometime at the start of their second semester, and just check in with them. And then again, that ties them back in and keeps them coming back as alumni, and when I was a part of the boys program, it was always like we'd have alumni and we'd play. There'd be enough to play alumni games versus the current players. And then the girls, when I started with the girls, it was like alums, once they graduate, it's like, oh no, I can't play anymore. I'm like, sure you can. Like, it's the same game. It hasn't changed. We might be a little slower or, whatever, but you can still play. And so tying them back in. I think that's basically, again, it's so much different. High school soccer, you're asking like U14s all the way to U18s, and you're saying we're going to make the best team out of this mix of kids, and they're playing for each other, playing for their community and with their classmates. And then there's fans in the stands, they're friends, and so it's a fun environment for sure.
Okay. What keeps you coming back? How many seasons you been coaching now?
This will be my 11th, 10th, minus COVID. But when I took over, to me, it's easy. It's about culture, and both programs that I took over at Pella Christian were pretty much dead programs. The girls soccer for a year, the prior coach basically ran the program in the ground, so the girls played with the boys, and then we restarted the program. Cross country, there was 13 kids out. Now we got 55, so 25% of the high school, 30% of the high school are kids that I'm coaching. So it is a relational piece, of course, but how do you culturally build a program that attracts kids and gets kids that maybe wouldn't necessarily participate and be a multi-sport athlete to come out and participate. So it's been fun.
Okay, so I've got one to wrap us up, and I think it's a little bit of a tricky one. So buckle up. No. But so we've got, a little bit, because so we've got 6 coaches here from all divisions. Jeez. We got Hollywood John Pearson down here. He's been getting calls all night. Who is it? Is Pam upset with you?
No, seriously, who is it?
Is the dog texting you to let it know that it needs to go out?
That's one of my captains.
Oh, see, okay,
What
so
she's
he's
asking.
I think she's confused tomorrow because the Lifton and them are going outside tomorrow.
You should tell him you're busy being interviewed.
You know the Galloways.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I'm prime time. Tell me you're prime.
Okay. So.
Hang the phone up.
All right. So. All right. Let's all buckle up. Buckle back
Keep
in
going.
though. Okay. Yeah.
Keep
Thank you,
going.
JP. Sorry for the.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay.
Turn it off now.
So.
Sorry.
We're ready for the cliffhanger.
Yeah. So there are six coaches here. All 6 coaches I would qualify as good coaches, successful, which you could define a bunch of different ways. But there's only one female here, and you coach girls soccer. And so to me, the question is, the reason I say it's tricky is because I kind of want to say to all 5 of you guys, like, why don't you let a woman coach the team? But I don't know that there are really that many women that want to coach. And so I'm just wondering, how do we fix that a little bit? JP, you mentioned that you've got a bunch of alumni essentially that have, and other women that have joined your staff. So how do we help that? Again, because we've got somebody that's coached 25 years, 10 years, longtime coach, club soccer, you've on the boys' side, right? So, like, how do we get more women to coach soccer?
Well, I'll say this: we reached out to more than one other female coach with no response.
Okay, but that wasn't my question. So
I
my
know,
question
like,
is,
I think that's part of the problem, though. Ben.
my question is,
But like we're trying to reach out. Like this is the first year we've ever done an all girls soccer podcast.
that's fine. But so
Doing an
that wasn't my
all-girls-
question.
But I think that's a point. Like we tried to reach out, so I don't know who
Okay.
the answer who that question's for.
that's probably a reason.
They're
So
not the first ones.
that's so outside of the distaste for us, how do we get more young ladies to continue coaching? JP, you got any thoughts on that with an all-female staff?
To get in the varsity level, I just don't think there's a big turnover in coaches. So I think it's up to us as head coaches to go out there and try and find female coaches if that's what we're looking for.
Because we also talked about at the beginning where we think that some players might enjoy the fact that they have a female coach more. That might make them feel a little more comfortable. So whether that's the head coach or not,
I've always had female coaches at Dowling. I had Michelle Ash before that, and Abby, who's up at Iowa Rush. She was a JV coach for me, and then I had Tara Kruger, and she was coaching JV2 for me. So I've basically always had a female staff.
so, and I'm not saying this against you, JP. I'm not. This is why I've said it's a little tricky. This isn't an attack on any of you guys. It's just how do we encourage them? So you've encouraged them. So how else do we? Is it alumni? Is that the way to do it? Is to find players that have played for you and help them through their coaching journey, or is it that young ladies don't necessarily want? You said they don't necessarily want to turn around and play as alumni. Maybe they don't want to coach.
I think almost everybody here at the table has had female assistants as alumni.
Right. So then, how do you keep them engaged?
I personally, I'm not a female, but just think about where the coaching experiences come from, whether it's through the clubs, through the high school coaching ranks. Unfortunately, the challenge for females is they get their life interrupted with having babies at points of time, and I think that interrupts some of the coaching cycles that they go through. I've got a daughter that's 25 years old, phenomenal coach in multiple sports, but she doesn't want to put herself into a head coaching role because she knows she's starting a family, having a couple kids the next 10 years. Not saying that's every female, but I think that's a real piece that men in general can. I mean, I've been coaching for 25 years and haven't had to take off for maternity leave to coach, right? But had kids along the way, so I think that's an element of it that we can't change. But I mean, it's not a reason not to let females become head coaches because there's a lot of very qualified ladies out there.
I mean, yeah, I've actually, since taking over, so this is my second year, I've tried to only get female coaches, and last year I was able to bring one in. There's already 2 male assistants at the program, so I wasn't, going to, but one left this year, and I tried to bring in another female coach, and then, life things happen, and she's not able to, so I think it is difficult finding the female coaches that are interested. So hey, if there's any listening, we got an open spot for you. So reach out. But yeah, I think it's just the difficulty of their life, what's going on. They're just not wanting to commit to that as much. So
I was letting the guys talk.
Yeah, let them talk. Dan,
Yeah, I mean, I don't have
suggestions?
I don't have anything great. I mean, it's being intentional. I think when you're looking, I mean, the good and the bad for us. I mean, I've had the same assistants for the last 10 years, so we just haven't had much turnover there. And at the time, when we hired Mark, he was the only person that even put his name in the hat. So I mean, like, that was, I mean, it was, yeah. I mean, we knew we wanted him, but at the same time, he was the only guy that even applied for it there too. So there's just not a ton of people applying for soccer positions then sometimes too. And I've talked to a couple former players about doing it, but we just haven't had a position. And then we're adding another one this year, but he's volunteering. So we're adding another male, but he's volunteering. So I mean,
Can't
I'm
say
not
no
gonna
to
tell that no.
volunteer.
Yeah, so.
Fair enough. Schaefer, thoughts?
I don't
mean, you
know.
mentioned the alumni thing.
Yeah, so I have 2 alumni that are also volunteers, former Dragons, and actually my varsity assistant was also a Dragon, and she had Emily. You remember Emily? No, she's you're old. Emily Scott. She's much younger than you.
Calling him
But
old.
she did have a child, and so I asked my two volunteers, who are also dragons, if they would want that position, and because of their work, life balance, things like that, they said they would prefer just to be a volunteer. And so, yeah, I have two females on staff, and it's great. I think it's really important, coaching girls, to have a balance of both males and females on your coaching staff, and it's great to have them. So I don't know. I don't have any words of wisdom on how to propel them into head coaching jobs. Yeah, I don't have anything.
Fair enough. Before I let Lisa talk, I will interject and say that I am also going to help you coach next week, right? Is it next week? And so, like, you're going to have a guy coaching your girls' team, right? And you have a guy on your staff, too, right? So this isn't meant, again, like, not meant any other way. It's just like, how do we get more girls to be in the mix?
Yeah, they think you're really cute, so that's why I bring you out.
Didn't I get asked to a dance last night, like, a couple years ago?
Yeah, a couple
I
years
think
ago.
it was the Rain Out Club, I think is what you got invited
Yeah,
to.
a couple years ago, it was. I was like, I had to tone it down from one of the girls. Yeah, you guys have said a lot of great things. So I'm a female, but I think having male allies and men is really important in the game as well. And I think alums, what I'm trying to do is start cultivating alums a passion for it and finding places. It may not be high school. High school is a weird thing. You have to be available at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, sometimes for bus trips. So that's really odd with like normal work schedules. But there's some barriers. They have to get the high school coaching license. Can maybe we pay for that? Or your booster club pay for that? Like, as they're starting out or leaving college or things like that. Or other licenses, grassroots licenses. I think those are some things to get them. Maternity, being parents. I have 2 girls, my wife and I. We have a 2 and 4-year-old. It's crazy. I have to have the support to do this. Like, it's a crazy 3 months, but it's something I want to do. Maybe high schools can start paying more. I don't know. That might get more women involved because you don't pay a lot. Or clubs, or benefits.
Do all
There's all those things.
Do all the schools pay the same? Like, this is just,
I mean, it's
thought
just
that.
a general, whatever DMPS pays,
DMPS
whatever,
does, yeah.
Okay.
The rest of the state.
it's whatever they do. But I mean, there's all kinds of things. But you have to figure out if you want to be a coach and how it fits in your life. But then you have to have mentors that ask. I think girls need to be invited. That's what I've seen. Whether to play, to coach, you'd be a great coach. That's where I start. You'd be great. Come out and try this. You'd be great. I'm going to put you in this. They need to be invited, and I think that's the biggest takeaway I've had. I was invited to coach from my college coach, and then that set me on my path. So that's what I try to do. If I see something in a young woman, you'd be great, ref, coach, whatever, invite them in.
So how do we cover the cost of this? Like, when you said that, I had one reach out like 3 weeks ago, wanted to help out, but didn't have that, and then spending the $300 to $500 is like, she didn't have that money. So like,
Yeah.
I think that's like, that is a barrier for some young adults to become that coach.
So
there, too.
I've-
It's a barrier because it's $500 to get the license, and you get paid $1,500. So
Right.
it's $1,000 to coach freaking 100 days.
Yeah,
but I would agree.
But you could be a
I would-
pro athlete
yeah, but, like,
and
it's-
not.
So we tried to do something a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Because that's actually, like, they have to upfront that cost.
Right.
It's like somebody's got, like, it's not a good thing. So, Dan, here you go. Or nobody listens to this, but if some high school coach wants to, like, get their high school authorization, it's silly, stupid, expensive. I think we all agree.
Yes.
It's like, slide into the DMs. We'll figure out a way at Kick It Forward to help it.
Yeah, I
sort
think
that out.
fundraising.
Okay.
I've fundraised
Makes
personally
sense.
for someone to
Takes a
do
long
it.
time to-
The Iowa Sports Foundation also is, I believe, starting to help with coaching authorizations. So, yeah, but I personally fundraised for a North alum to then come back and coach for us. Now she's on to grad school and all of that. But I'm paying for you to do this because I think you're going to be great. Yeah.
Nice.
So
Good
I did
idea.
it because I was like, she couldn't pay for it, which makes sense.
Yeah, good idea.
I was
She's
just
also a stud, though, too. Like a great representation of what you've done over at that program. So
All right, we're not
Definitely
limited-
slide
all
of the
right,
DMs.
Last one of the night. Or you got anything else, Ben?
well, predictions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are
We're
you
gonna start with
guaranteeing
Danny.
this is the last question?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa,
That's one.
if you need to
Dan-
roll, you can. All right, you
Yeah,
get to
I
pick
know.
Dan.
Lisa's getting like getting hassled. Dan, prediction, and then
Where are you gonna be in
Schaefer,
June?
and then Schaefer, call it out, whoever you want.
Yeah.
Dan, go.
Oh.
Prediction.
How we're gonna finish this year?
Where are you going to be in
Prediction?
June? On June 1st?
Back to back to back.
To back.
No, that's just 3. Yeah. So we're gonna be in the mix. I mean, I'm not gonna
Like the
underestimate this
Bulls.
team. We're,
He's like the Bulls.
we're
Yeah.
Three-peat.
Three-peat. We're going for the 3-peat. We're gonna be in the mix. Okay, I'm not gonna say promise. We're just gonna say we're gonna go and we're gonna give it our best shot to get the 3-peat here this year.
I love that.
He didn't guarantee it, is what he was trying to say.
Well,
if
you
you
gotta
can't
have a little
guarantee?
luck and.
Yeah. All right. So I think we're in a different space than we were last year, but we also have a team that is going to be competitive in every game, and so I think if again, a little bit of luck, little things that happen, I think we take one game at a time, and
Come on, Schaefer. We can't have the.
we are. Well, I'll just say this.
Come on.
I'll just say
Are
this.
you guys gonna be playing in the title game, June 1st?
We need to make it to the state tournament first.
Okay.
It was 8 years before that last year, so it's important to be there first, right? Can't win it if you're not there.
Actually, before we go, Tiger, let's go one more with you, JP. What? JP, go ahead. Because I want to hear.
I think we can make the state, but I'm not too sure if we're mature enough to get to the final. I think we'll do okay in our games during the season, but getting to state is always difficult. Who you get drawn. Last year we had to play Southeast Polk and Muscatine to get there, which is 2 good schools. Muscatine was a good team, not bad. I don't know. I'm not going to say we're in the final. I can't say that.
Who's going to win the Metro Conference here? North, Lincoln? What's going on?
Roosevelt is the only team that wins the conference so far.
I mean,
but
yeah,
I think
Roosevelt's won it for a while straight. I mean, they haven't lost a conference game in a while.
they haven't lost the conference game. So Lincoln looked pretty good last week in an indoor tournament. So at Grandview.
I feel pretty good about my squad this year, to be honest, with the Metro. I mean, playing in June is a different topic that I'm not sure we're getting at, but yeah, late May, I like to get us,
Everybody does.
reaching the district finals would be fantastic for us. But yeah, like winning the Metro is the big goal for us. And I mean, I thought the North game for us was the most competitive, the best game we had last year, the most enjoyable game. So I'm really excited for that one. It was my first win.
It was 1-0, yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't forgotten it.
The halftime interview really inspired me by you. I mean, yeah, the media
You weren't scared
coverage,
by
we had to
geese.
perform.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel really good about my team this year. Like, we had a good senior class last year, but it wasn't, exactly the way we wanted to play or I would have liked us to play. So I think my fingerprint will be on the team a little more this year. So.
By the way, Lisa, you guys crushed them and lost 1-0.
We did. We dominated the entire game, which I was shocked because we've never dominated like an entire game.
It was shocking.
And then we lost.
Wow.
But thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah, you score a goal and you defend, and I'm half Italian.
Yeah,
That's what you do.
It was good.
We're the Pillar Bears.
Well, we have a lot of returners back. We don't have a goalkeeper, so I'm training somebody from scratch, which is a little scary at the high school level, but I'm a goalkeeper coach. I will do my best. So that's hard for me to say because we were in games last year. We had great goal scorers. We had a great goalkeeper who's playing college soccer, and I don't have a goalkeeper this year. So we've had that in the past. I don't know where. I'm hoping we'll be in the top 3 in the conference. We were second last year, which was our best finish ever. We made it to the second round of regionals. We got a bye, which we've never had happen as well. We were competitive, so hopefully we're in that same place. And my girls, some of them have a goal to get to state. I think realistically it's challenging, but I'm always open to the possibility. So, at county.
Love it. Mike, you gonna be at county?
Well, he'll be there.
I'm always
He might be
there.
watching. He might be coaching.
I'd like to get closer to the sideline, the opposite sideline, but
So we could use some halftime interviewers.
1A is fairly predictable. It's a lot of 2A teams that are just happen to be in 1A, but Heelan, Gilbert, Des Moines Christian, Davenport Assumption, Nevada. Nevada didn't have a senior graduate. Neither did Underwood, who couldn't get out of the first. Couldn't get out of the quarterfinal round.
Okay,
but
so you're up against it realistically where you're going to be.
where are we going to be?
Yeah.
Well, we always dance into the second or third round regionals, but we always got to find a Des Moines Christian or a Nevada in our way. So
If you ever want to talk
we
about
can-
parking the
we
bus,
can
we'll have a
get to
chat.
state, we can win state because that means we're beating
That's fair.
a top 4 contender.
Well,
every
like I
year.
said, if you want to talk about parking the bus, let's chat. All right, anybody want to leave us with some parting thoughts?
How about you guys? Who do you think is going to be in the final?
Well,
Put it back
I like that.
that's a good question. We did answer this yesterday. Go ahead, Siebes.
Well, like I'm a Dragon alum, so like Schaefer, the pressure's on because you've done it against Southeast Polk. Yeah, in the biggest class.
That's what you think's going to happen?
Of course, now because I'm a
You got
I'm a
2A prediction?
taxpayer-
2A
taxpayer
prediction?
in Southeast Polk. 2A prediction. Oh, DCG's going to run through it. They're going to go undefeated.
That's nice
They're
of
going to
you.
allow 3 goals all season.
Oh, jeez.
Dan, sorry, but putting the pressure on you.
With no. Oh, speaking of no goalie, Dan doesn't have one either, Lisa. So maybe you guys can commiserate after this.
Yeah, so
And then 1A.
Oh, Bukite's my boy. We're going to the state tournament for the first time ever.
And then what?
Well,
He's
then,
going to win it
once
because
you
that's what he
make it,
said.
you
You're
win
right.
it.
Okay, fair enough.
Nevada Assumption.
Yeah, so 1A Assumption's definitely going to have something to say about it because they lost last year for the first time in like 7 or 8 years, like a long time.
Remember our friend?
You
the
do,
coach, do you
yeah.
remember?
Oh, thanks. I don't recall her name honestly offhand, but oh yeah, Mouse. That's right, Moss, Elizabeth Moss. I don't know. I have no idea. But they were. I think there's no chance that like she's way too competitive to go 2 years without winning. That I know, regardless of her name.
Waverly Shell Rock's gonna knock off Danny over there or not?
You know, last year Waverly Shellrock was very good. I do have to say that DCG is probably going to win 2A, which pains me to say that they're going to three-peat. Well, yeah, because I like to see something fresh every year. And then 3A is going to be my Tigers, obviously. I think Rob Chapman's going to go out his last season coaching with a big W.
is this his
Breaking
last parade?
I have heard
Well, that's the second
he
time
may
I've
be-
heard this.
okay,
I talked
he
to him
may
today,
be-
but he
I've-
did not mention that to me. So I'm gonna.
I've
have to
heard that this may be his last season. So I expect he will walk out with his head held high as a champion. So that's what we're going to leave everybody with. And hopefully Chapman's listening to this. I'm pretty sure he doesn't even know who I am, so that's fine. Thank you guys all for coming, and best of luck this spring. And talk to you soon.